I think this is the best Cowboys roster that we've seen, at least in the last 2 decades.
Wow.
I didn't even have to get a hook in there. That was,
oh my God.
Micah Parsons is having, I think, the best single performance in training camp that I've ever seen.
I think we can all go around and give one from this past week. I know like a couple weeks ago we did this, but what's one takeaway you've had from this last week of training camp?
This last week.
Jordan Love is.
Cowboys are going to. Yeah.
Go ahead, Marcus, you go first. Marcus, you're the guest. You go first.
Throws it up.
Adam was being rude.
That's right. The Dallas Cowboys are going to be really, really good this year. You watch their defense. Their defense is going to be absolutely incredible. Micah Parsons is having, I think, the best single performance in training camp that I've ever seen in my 20 years of covering the Cowboys. I'm not saying they're going to beat the Eagles and win the NFC East, but they might. This team is awesome.
Are you saying this is the Cowboys' year?
I'm saying the Cowboys have a really good chance. I'm not going that far.
He knows.
I'm saying every Cowboy fan always says every year, this is our year.
You gotta tread lightly.
The Eagles are still the favorites in the NFC, as they should be. They're an awesome, awesome team. But I don't think the gap between Philadelphia and Dallas is all that big.
It's not.
No, it's not that
Care
big.
to respond?
Well, the gap is Philly trying to catch up with Dallas, actually, at this point.
A little spit for your
that
troubles,
I'm so excited. Here's the thing. Here's the
drooling
thing.
over the Cowboys.
I injected so much of what Marcus said into my
your
veins that
veins
it's
are
coming out of
popping
my
out.
mouth right now. Like, this shit is fucking wild. No, I agree. Like, no, the Eagles are the favorites in the NFC, and they should be coming off the Super Bowl, everything like that. But Dallas is, man. We knew Dallas was good. They were good last year, right? But I think they just got so much better from last year to this year. Marcus, I want to ask you this question because I said it last week. What's so funny?
Go.
I said it last week. This is the best Dallas team I've seen, I think, since I've been alive. For context, born in 1998.
Shout out, bro.
So not a 2000s baby. I'm not that young yet.
Nope, congrats.
But
Yet.
I think that's the best team I've seen. And like the teams that come up for me are that 2014 team, which was really good. Obviously, the Des caught it year. 2007, I remember, was an incredible year. Devastating loss in the playoffs to the Giants. Matan's Giants.
Shout out to Giants.
I think those are the two teams that really stand out to me in terms of like amazing teams. Where do you think this team stacks up?
Yeah, I think it's better than both those teams because they have so much top-end talent, like that 2007 team had, but they just have so much more depth, especially on defense. I mean, they've got guys like their 14th, 15th, and 16th defenders on the team that would start for most teams in the league. I agree with you. I think this is the best Cowboys roster that we've seen, at least in the last 2 decades.
Wow.
I didn't even have to get a hook in there. That was,
oh my God. Well, okay, but what is, obviously the media has been showing us just a few highlights from training clamp.
Training clamp.
And talk about getting clamped.
Put on the
Dak
clamps.
Prescott has been throwing what looks like a lot of interceptions at training camp. Thoughts, comments, concerns?
Bullshit. I want Marcus to take
I mean, Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush season.
I think it's Cooper Rush time.
It's time
I
for
agree.
Cooper.
Rush hour.
Why do people care so much about Dak throwing interceptions in training camp? Isn't this when you're supposed to throw interceptions?
Not only that, but every quarterback's throwing interceptions. It's
Aaron Rodgers
just
is
that
doing
everyone's
interceptions.
looking at Dak. Now, I don't know like the number in particular. I saw someone say this. I don't know the validity of it, but I saw that his numbers in training camp are like 44 touchdowns to 4 interceptions or something like that.
They do a lot of red zone drills.
And so I don't know if they do red zone. I mean, touchdowns are touchdowns and interceptions are interceptions. That's what we're looking at. So nobody's talking about the touchdowns. I don't know the validity to that.
I
Maybe
saw he had
Marcus.
about, like,
maybe Marcus
92
knows a bit more than me.
92 to like 105 touchdowns.
Well,
Talk about
All right,
validity.
Marcus.
Other quarterback in the NFL is having their interceptions charted in training camp other than Dak Prescott. This is just a Dallas Cowboys phenomenon thing, right? Here's the thing. I want my quarterback throwing interceptions in practice because I want him to find out what he can and can't get away with in actual games. This is a Brett Favre, Patrick Mahomes thing. Like if you go watch Patrick Mahomes at Chiefs camp, he's going to throw 7 or 8 interceptions in a practice because he's trying to figure out what his limits are. That's exactly what Dak is doing in these practices. So get out of here with all this Dak Prescott hate for training camp interceptions. It doesn't matter at all.
So Dak equals Patrick Mahomes. This is what I'm picking up.
I mean, like, I'm obviously a Giants fan. I'm not a Cowboys fan whatsoever. But, I mean, it could also just say something about the Cowboys defense, if anything. Right?
It could.
We're giving
but
Dak shit, but why aren't we praising the Cowboys defense for making good plays against a great quarterback? So, You know what I
I
mean?
just don't care about training camp's interceptions. If it's Daniel Jones throwing 7 in a practice, I don't care because none of this matters. Once we get to week 1 and Dak has a big game, is anybody going to care that he threw 2 interceptions in a July 31st practice? Of course not.
Well,
It doesn't
July
matter.
31st wasn't the best day for Dak. So, yeah, I mean, possibly.
I feel like that's one of the hard things about training camp is judging what is the offense and what's the defense in terms of like the offense makes a big play. You want to get excited about it, but did the defense fuck up?
Yeah, it's like, is the defense
Somebody's
ass?
wide open. Like,
Yeah,
I feel like that's so hard to judge.
Yeah,
And
when
you
you're playing
find
against
yourself, like, I remember last year when Trayvon Diggs got burnt, I think, in a play by like some receiver that didn't even make the fucking team or some shit. And then I'm like, dude, this receiver, that's the next Jerry Rice right there. Like, he just burnt Trayvon Diggs and the dude doesn't make the team. It's like, you know what I mean? So
Was it Simi Fajoku?
It
might have been Simi.
I just think it might have been
Simi.
Simi.
It
It
was
might have been
always,
Simi. So it's so hard. How do you like find that judgment between like differentiating between a great play on offense or a bad play on defense or the other way around?
You don't.
First of all, it's all about confirming your priors, right? If you thought somebody was awesome and he had a great training camp practice, he's the best player that we ever saw. No, I think it's the drum beat, right? You want to see somebody be consistently good day over day, and that's when you can start making takeaways. But a single clip on Twitter where a guy has a nice route and the DB misses, like that, just kind of forget about it. It's about what you do over the course of 5, 6, 7 practices in a row.
I know we've gone into like a 15-minute Cowboys hole.
No, this is a Cowboys podcast.
I'm down. No, I'm all for it.
I'm not.
Now, I got into an argument yesterday with 2 Eagles fans who said, and I quote, Cowboys fans say this every year. And while you do, Marcus, can you speak on when Eagles fans and other, fans around the NFL say, Cowboys fans say this every year, but in fact, this is probably, like you both said, the best Cowboys team in the last 2 decades. So what do you have to say to people that say you guys say this every year?
Yeah, I mean, Cowboy fans generally are very optimistic, and they do believe that their team is going to go to the Super Bowl every year. But I do think this is, in terms of talent, the best team that they've had. It doesn't mean that they're going to win the Super Bowl or make it to the NFC Championship game. But I think anything short of an NFC Championship game is a pretty big disappointment. So that's where the expectations are. And I know Eagle fans are tired of hearing this, but the Cowboys are good. It doesn't mean that they're great, but they are a good team. They've won 12 games in each of the last 2 seasons. They're one of the best 5 or 6 teams in the NFL. Eagle fans just have to get over it.
We surpassed 10K subs, so we're going to get Jack a caps off ass tattoo, so make sure to tune into that. When we get to 20K subs, he's going to get a Tua tattoo. And also, if you want any betting advice, betting promos, go to thegameday.com. You're going to find it all.